Hello guys, today we are going to see how we can create an internal application load balancer with an external backend. So this external backend can be over the internet. So in this demo, I will in my external backend will be over the Azure. So we will create first external backend over the Azure, and then we will connect it with our internal VM like internal region load balancer. So like we already know, like it is a proxy based level layer 7 load balancer which will allow us to run any scalable services behind a single internal IP address. And what will happen in external backend when we expose our external backend to Google Cloud, we have to ensure that whether we use this combination IP or port, any of your public IP or port, or we can use a FQDN like fully qualified domain name and port, so that we can reach that specific backend over the internet. So like you want that your users can reach a backend over internet, but they must reach via private IP. So the private IP will be your load balancer IP, and that but the backend is over the internet, so they don't hit that backend directly with that public IP, but they will hit that via the private IP. So in this we also use proxy only subnet, like it is used for NY proxies, and the major thing we will use here is the cloud net gateway. So what will happen, like we cannot reach like this external backend directly from our internal load balancer. We need something to give access to over the internet. So what will we do? Like we will create a NAT gateway, and we will allow this proxy only subnet. So through NAT gateway, so any traffic which will hit this proxy only subnet will be forwarded, or we can say this proxy only subnet IP range is allowed to communicate over the internet. As you know about NAT gateway, how it works, like if you want to reach over internet from your private VMs, so you can put a NAT gateway in front of it or in the specific region, so that your private instance can talk to internet. Like you want to do some critical security updates but you don't have internet access, so you can create a NAT gateway for that specific region, or like for you can even create for specific subnet also. So same thing we will do here only. We will create that cloud net gateway for this specific subnet, proxy only subnet. If you don't know about proxy only subnet, I have covered in my previous videos. Basically, you can check over this. So what will happen? I will give a overview. Like whenever we hit our internal load balancer, it will drop the traffic and create a new connection with this subnet, proxy only subnet, to our backends. So you have to remember this point. So if you want to see proxy only subnet, I have covered a slide also. Like proxy only subnet basically required for regional internal load balancers, as we have seen that it is also required for external regional application load balancer. It is required for internal regional application load balancer also. So proxy only subnet provides a set of IP address like that Google uses to and run NY proxy on our behalf, and we have to create one proxy subnet in each region of the VPC network. So like if you have 3 4 regions where you are creating internal load balancer, so you need like 3 or 4, like how many regions you are using. So according to that you need like a specific subnet in all that regions. You cannot use like Asia, like Mumbai region subnet in any of the US region. So it is region specific, and like all regional envoy based proxy load balancer in the same region and VPC subnet share a pool of envoy proxy from the same proxy only subnet. Like if you have 3 4 load balancer running in the same region, so all will use the same proxy only subnet. You can create multiple proxy only subnet in a specific region, and proxy only subnets are only used for on envoy proxies, not for your backend. So never create or attach proxy only subnet with your backends, and backends or VM endpoints of all regional internal load balancers in a region VPC network receive connection from the proxy only subnet. I've already told you that all the backend VMs or the endpoints which are connected with the internal load balancer will receive the traffic from proxy only subnet. So we have to also create an ingress firewall rule with the proxy only subnet IP range, so that it can connect to our backends, because the traffic is at last coming from a proxy only subnet. That's why we need a firewall ingress rule also. So these are the steps which we are going to cover. First of all, we need a VPC network and subnet. After that, we need a proxy only subnet. Then we set up a cloud net gateway, reserve load balancer IP address, set up internet network endpoint group, and then create the load balancer. Some steps are already covered, so I will just skip the steps, but I have just written out here. But I will show you all the steps if I even covered. So let's go to console and let's start. So this is my console as of now. This is my Azure VM which I am using. So this is my public IP of the VM. If I just go over the internet and try to run it, it gave me a page set from Azure VM. So we want this backend in our load balancer. So what we can do right now. So like go to first step. So let's go to VPC network and start the things. So in this I have two networks in my VPC, default and LB. So let's go inside the LB network. I am going to use this network only. So as of now I have some subnets in it. So I am just going to use only one subnet, and I will use this subnet like US subnet while creating that load balancer. But first of all we have to create a proxy only subnet. So let's click on here, add subnet, give a name like proxy subnet. After that we have to choose a region. So let's create a US central one. After that we have to choose this option, regional managed proxy. So even if you click on the question mark, it will give you that it is a proxy only subnet. So let's click on it. After that is that it has a role active in backup. You can check out my previous videos. I have covered in depth how what is active in backup. So just give a range like 192.168.7.0/24 and just click on add. So my proxy only subnet has been created here as we can see. So now let's go to our cloud net, which is the next part. So here we will run the commands via cloud shell, because as of now I have tried to create with the console, but it doesn't work. That commands doesn't work. That specific thing which we need to create doesn't work. So this is the commands. You can check out this page also. If you go to load balancing, you will find external backend. It is as a now preview. Maybe it will come in general availability sooner. So first of all, we have to create a cloud router. So we have to give a cloud name. So we can give an external router. After that, we have to provide it a name. So let's give it at LB network, which is my, you can see this is my network name, LB network. After that, we have to provide it a region, in which region we want to create this cloud router. So let's give a name, region US Central 1. So if you don't know how it is work, what is CloudNet, you can check out my one video also I have created on that. So first of all, just we are creating a router. So my cloud router has been created. As we can see, now we have to set up the cloud net gateway. So we have to give a name first of all. So we can give external net gateway. You can give anything you want. After that, we have to provide that router. It is already taken from here, external router. After that, it is endpoint types. So it is a managed proxy LB, which it is taking. And after that, we have to provide that proxy only subnet name. So if you go to here, and this is my proxy only subnet, so we just copy this name and put it here, proxy only subnet, and rest it will auto allocate the external IPs, and this is the reason. Just copy this command and run. So there are two options as of now, like if we want to create dynamically allocated IP address, so what will happen? It will automatically allocate IP to us, or even we can manually allocate. First we can like create an IP or reserve an IP, and then we can create this NAT gateway. So it depends upon you how you want to do this, whether you want to go with automatically IP created by Google or you want to go manually. So what will happen if you go to with automatically created? So you have to, because we don't see which IP address we are using, so we have to like allow all the IP address over the internet like 0.0.0.0/0. But here we can use specific IPs only. So like if you want to allow traffic, like in Azure, I want to allow traffic from this specific IP only, then otherwise I have to allow the traffic from the internet to reach my Azure VM. So it depends upon you how you want to go, whether dynamically or manually. So we can see it has been created. So let's go once again in it. So it is created. Let's go inside it and see what is the options we have. So this is a public. Now net is also of two types as of now. It is a new one in preview, private and public. I will try to create a video on private one also. This is our region. This is cloud router which I've created previously. This is like cloud net mappings. This is the subnet which is using. So this is my proxy subnet which it is using, and allocation type is automatic and network tier, all that. This is some advanced configuration. So this is step over has been done. So let's see which is the next step. Now we have to design the load balancer IP address. I already have IP address, so I will skip this step. Now let's start up the internet energy. So we can do this from here also, network endpoint groups. But the issue is that when we try to create a network endpoint group directly from here, it create a, like if you go here internet network endpoint, it create a global one. We don't have any option as of now to create a regional one. So what will happen if we create a network endpoint group from here? It will not reflect in load balancer when we try to create it. So now what we can do, we have to go via console via cloud shell only. So this is the command. If you go here, so you have to provide the internet energy name. So like we can provide my energy name, anything like external energy. After that we have to provide a default port number. So let's say my working on port 80. This is my network, this is my region. So we can see this is the region US center one, but when we try to create from here, there is only global region. That's why it doesn't work if we try to create. uh, so we want a region specific only. So let's run this command once again. Been created. Now what we have to do, next command is we have to add the endpoint to this energy. So as we can see, it has been created. So if we go back and go inside it, we can see that this is our network endpoint group. There is no network endpoint. It is just created, but no network endpoints has been attached to it. So we have to attach it. Also, we can see the location is now written is US Central one. Previously, it is showing as global. That's why we cannot use a global one, because it is a internal load balancer, which are regional also. So let's fill these details also. This is our external energy. So we have two options, whether we can use here port and IP, sorry, IP and port, or we can use FQDN, like fully qualified domain name or port number. And you can add like up to 256 endpoints as per energy. So I don't have a fully qualified domain name, but we can configure. Let's click on DNS name, and let's fill this name like external. Let's see whether it is available. Okay, just save it. So this is now our DNS name. Now if we, let's try to hit this over the internet, and we can see it is serving this page. So that's fine. Now we can just put it here. Even you can use just put their IP if you don't want to use the FQDN, and just provide the port number here. We have only one endpoint, but if we have multiple endpoints, we can put all here. So just remove the second option here, and just copy this command and put it in add gateway here in this cloud shell. It has been added. Now let's see once again. We have one endpoint here, we can see. So let's go, and we can see this is our endpoints which have created external ES-US1. Health status is as of now unknown. It can show unknown only if no issue. Just now let's create our load balancer. So let's go to create load balancer, start configuration only between my VMs and serverless service. Give a load balancer name like external VM. We can see external LB. This is our network. This is our region, sorry. After that, we have to select the networks. It will automatically take the proxy only subnet which we have created previously. If you remember, this is our proxy only subnet. So we have to give this name. After that, we have to create a backend service. Click on backend service. So we can say external backend. After that, it is not an instance group. It is an internet network endpoint group. You can see it is work over HTTP. and we have to choose a regional internet endpoint group. Here it is. Click on done. You can choose a health check also. If you don't have health check, just click on create a health check and fill all the details like name, protocol, and port on which your external backend works, so that Google can send traffic to check whether it is healthy or not. Click on create routing rules. It is okay because it is as a single backend. Just now configure the front end. I am not using HTTPS because I don't have a certificate, but if you have, you can use it. And as of now, Google doesn't support like certificate here. If you try to click, it doesn't support Google managed certificate. So, but you can check with console. We have some option to do that. Oh, sorry, with the cloud shell, not with console. So as of now, I am going with HTTP only because I am just using a testing only. So click on HTTP, check the subnetwork. So this is my US subnet which I am going to use. You can choose any subnet in that is this specific region. After that, I have to choose a IP address. I have already reserved the IP address. I will use this one. We can enable global access, or like if we don't enable global access, what will happen if anyone another than from this region, like US center, will try to reach our load balancer, it will give no response. But if we enable this, so from any region inside our network, if anyone try to reach this load balancer, it will give a response. So let's enable global access also. Click on done, review and finalize, and create it. So our load balancer has been created. So in this, we don't need much like firewall rules or something like that, because in this proxy only subnet doesn't do much thing, because the traffic which is going to our backend is going by a public IP. So that public IP must be in like allowed or ingress. You have to create a rule that so allow that specific traffic, or you can just allow all the IPs so that it can reach your external backend. So we don't need any specific firewall rules, like for if we create any another load balancer, we have to create like Google firewall rules also, like two IP are there, and also we need to create a firewall rule for the proxy only subnet. But that doesn't need here. Let's now what we can do, just check this IP from one of the VMs which I have already running. So let's go to my VM instance and I will log in one of them. So this is my Europe VM, which is in Europe location, but in the same VPC network. So let's log in into it, into my VM. So let's do the curl from here. So we can see we are getting a response. So as of now, what is happening? When I do the curl, it send a traffic to our load balancer, which is this. Load balancer terminate the traffic and create a new, and then proxy only subnet. It will create a new connection via proxy only subnet to the external backend. But that proxy only subnet is also a private chain, so it cannot reach the backend directly. So what will happen? It will use the NAT gateway, which is allow private instances to reach the public instance. So what will happen? With the help of NAT gateway, it will reach over the external backend, and from there it get a response, and just then load balancer then give back with a response to me. So this is what we have checked, and even I am in the Europe, still I'm able to reach my internal load balancer. This is because of this specific thing which we have done. Where it is this global access which has been enabled. So this is the like little demo I have shown you. So if you have any question, you can comment of down. Next video I will try to cover cross region load balancer also, and how to create and what are the options. Okay, thank you.